Welcome to this explainer. If you're currently prepping for the Cambridge Accounting AS and A-Level 9706 exams, well, you already know the deal. Mastering standard costing isn't just a good idea, it's absolutely essential. Specifically, decoding sales price and volume variances is a non-negotiable skill. Why? Because this topic literally appears in every single examination series. You simply can't dodge it. But hey, don't stress, because today we're going to break down exactly what the top Cambridge examiners are actively looking for. By the end of this, you'll be able to walk into that exam hall with total confidence.
Okay, let's dive right into this. I want you to look at this explicit warning pulled directly from the principal examiner reports. Answers on standard costing are often too vague. Examiners want specific details. The stakes here are incredibly high, guys. You can sit there and memorize every single formula in your textbook, but if you lose points simply because you're giving generic, wishy-washy answers, your overall grade is going to suffer unnecessarily. We absolutely have to understand how to deliver the razor-sharp precision that examiners demand.
And that brings us to a really critical question we need to ask ourselves right out of the gate. Why do students find standard costing terminology so incredibly hard? What is it about distinguishing between these key terms in a high-pressure exam scenario that trips up so many highly capable candidates? It's a massive pain point across the board, and overcoming it, that's your secret key to unlocking those top-tier marking bands.
To solve this, we've put together an examiner's playbook for today. First, we'll establish the core costing principles. Second, we'll break down the technical methodology. Third, we're going to tackle mastering critical analysis. And finally, we'll review the top examiner warnings. This is our clear, step-by-step roadmap to unpacking these exam secrets. Let's get into it.
Starting off with Section 1, Core Costing Principles. This is all about building your theoretical architecture.
So the theoretical architecture of this topic doesn't just rest on doing the maths correctly. It relies heavily on really precise definitions and understanding causal relationships. For example, think about how using a cheaper, lower quality material might positively impact your price variance because you spent less, but completely ruin your volume variance because you end up wasting more material. You also need to integrate this with other syllabus areas. The Cambridge syllabus makes it super clear that top-performing students exhibit a connected, conceptual understanding. When you truly grasp that underlying framework, you can easily transfer your knowledge to completely unfamiliar, curveball contexts in your exam.
The difference in how students approach this is actually pretty stark. On one side, we have isolated fact memorization. On the other, connected cross-topic understanding. Your average students treat standard costing like isolated, standalone math problems. Top scorers, however, they link concepts together. Principal examiner reports specifically highlight that candidates who reference cross-topic connections achieve significantly higher marks. It's all about stepping back and seeing the systematic, evidence-based bigger picture.
All right, moving into Section 2. The technical methodology. This is where we secure those method marks, shifting from pure theory to actual practice during data processing.
I really want to introduce you to what we call the method mark strategy. Did you know Cambridge examiners actually award marks for your analytical process and your clear working out? This is a massive advantage. It literally means that even if your final calculation is slightly off because of, exam pressure and a calculator typo, utilizing this strategy ensures you still salvage points. Your working out is the proof of your conceptual understanding.
To fully capitalize on this, you've got to follow a strict procedural sequence when you tackle complex variance problems. Step 1. Deconstruct the question and identify the key elements from the stimulus. Step 2. Select and apply the relevant principles. Step 3. Execute your analysis with super clear notation and working out. Step 4. Verify your results. And Step 5. Present your findings in the appropriate format using the correct terminology. This sequence right here is your standardized safety net. And real quick, if you want to make sure you never miss a weekly Cambridge breakthrough strategy just like this one, make sure to subscribe to AC Exams, IGCSE, O, and A levels, and turn on all notifications. We're here to help you get those top grades.
Let's look at how this methodology builds directly into data interpretation. You have to extract information from text and tables, interpret the relationships, and draw solid, evidence-based conclusions. Listen, data interpretation isn't just copying numbers from a table onto your lined paper. It is proving to the examiner that you understand the actual narrative behind the data. Why did the sales volume shift? How exactly does that relate to the price variance? You have to articulate that relationship clearly.
Now let's shift gears to Section 3, Mastering Critical Analysis. We call this the high tariff skill because this is the absolute hardest part of the exam, and it's exactly where the biggest points are won or lost.
When examiners ask you for comparative analysis, they are demanding that you identify both similarities and differences. You cannot just lean entirely on one or the other. And honestly, it's not enough to just list them out like bullet points. They have to be stitched together with comparative connectives supported by hard evidence from the scenario, and they need to lead to strong conclusions about their relative importance. Take a look at the comparison on screen. Comparing these two approaches reveals a massive difference in quality. A generic student answer simply fails to question the basic assumptions of the prompt. They just accept everything at face value. Meanwhile, a top-scoring evaluative answer justifies its decisions with solid, contextual facts. Top-scoring candidates actively evaluate the quality of the evidence by identifying limitations, questioning the assumptions made in the scenario, and even offering alternative interpretations. This level of critical analysis is exactly what elevates your grade from average to outstanding. Let's round things out with Section 4, Top Examiner Warnings. Consider this an exclusive insider look into the specific traps and pitfalls flagged directly by principal examiners, the stuff that consistently costs students marks. So, the absolutely crucial point here is to avoid these top 3 mistakes. First up, answers are too vague. As we established, examiners want specific details, not generalizations. Second, students frequently forget proper format and presentation conventions. I'm talking about correct headings, clear annotations, the basics that make your paper readable. Third, answers are not specific to the context given. I really have to vigorously underscore this ultimate examiner alert. The classic, most painful mistake is providing generic answers. You must always link every single point back to the given scenario. Contextualization is absolutely non-negotiable for passing this part of the exam. Think of it this way. If your written answer could theoretically apply to any generic business in the world, it is simply not specific enough to get full marks for the specific business in your exam prompt. To help you retain all of this heavy information, I've got a surprisingly simple psychological tool for you. Use a visual story method to encode standard costing terminology and variance concepts. When you link incredibly dry accounting data to a vivid visual narrative in your mind, like actually imagining a specific factory floor where the price of raw materials suddenly spikes and production volume shifts, you create a mental anchor. This anchor is so much easier to recall when you're sitting there stressed out in the exam hall. So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought. How will you apply the visual story method to your next past paper practice to avoid those generic examiner traps? The examiner's playbook is officially in your hands now. It's time to take this technical methodology, apply that critical analysis, and completely transform your approach to standard costing. Keep practicing, stay focused, and remember to hit that subscribe button for Ace the Exam's IGCSE O and A levels. Drop a comment with your target grade, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.